you. The reason for that is because tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock is the viewing at the church. Then the service, which should finish about 11:15, because she will be buried tomorrow. So the only 4 speakers on the program for tomorrow are 2 minutes each. So tonight afford you the opportunity, if you would like to say something nice about Mary, since the family is here, that we will entertain that at this time. Thank you. Who will be first?
You ready for a like this?
No. Wait. Oh, you want to be first?
Everybody agree with this? What do you think?
Seems like we're shy or we don't have anything to say. So I'll start. I'm Annie, Mary's cousin, sister, however you want to put it. So I'll start with this song.
If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I heard up there the streets were made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when you gaze down here through, there's a place up there for people like you. If you walk around with your heart on your sleeve, and if you try to be the change you want to see, if you lay down your life for a love so someone could receive, there's a place for people like you. The streets are made of gold. When you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when you take down here, there's a place out there for people like the streets are made of gold. And when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when you gaze down here on you, there's a place out there for people like you. I know you're out there, so keep doing what you do. 'Cause there's a place out there for people like you. For just many one people we are.
Thank you.
My name is Keith Galloway. Mary was our neighbor in Montreal. she was like one of the family. She was born in 1962, a few months after our baby brother died. He was only 3 days old at the time. Mary's arrival was a breath of fresh air, and she was the cutest thing. Our mother was Mary's godmother, and our eldest brother, David, was her godfather. So Mary was more than a god sister. She was the baby sister in many ways. From an early age, it was clear that Mary was vivacious, sassy, strong-willed, with a smile that brightened the room and lifted your heart. She was cheeky. She was the giggler. She was the apple of her grandmother's eye. Mary was very nurturing as a child. Although she was only 6 years older than my sisters, Janice and Janet, they were twins, she claimed that they were her baby dolls. And she treated them that way. She would feed them mangoes and cuddle and rock them and play school with them as her students. One of my recollections of Mary is growing up, she was, well, as I said, like a sister, but she was never afraid to speak her mind. I remember the time that I introduced her to someone that I was dating, and she clearly felt that I wasn't being myself. So in a private moment, she asked me, "What happened, boy? She punch your head?" My sister Janice also shared some recollection of Mary. My cousin Althea, we used to call her Tete, she brought Janice to New York. And they stayed at Mary's place. And of course, Mary loved animals. She had cats, dogs, and other animals, birds. And she said to Janice, "Girl, stop your nonsense. Them are nothing. You just rest yourself." She had just had that way with animals and with people and made them feel warm and welcome. But her tongue would be sharp. If you go foolish on her, her tongue would be sharp if you went foolish on her. For most of my adult life, Mary has dealt with health issues. I remember her I remember talking to her in the earlier in this year and praying that Manchak will someday have a dialysis and she would be able to travel there. She joked about reliving our childhood and how level peace would not be the same if we all went back. Sorry. Swinging in the Yard by Miss Hesse, playing hide and seek in the bushes between the houses. She was a stalwart supporter of fundraising groups and her grandkids. In December, she sent Janice pictures of Brianna, and it was like she was, and I'm sorry, and she was very pretty. Mary's response was, of course, she's just like her grandma. She was comfortable with her own skin. She would say, "A God make me, so if you can't take me, then," sorry. She said, "A God make me, but we can't take the credit." The last we spoke, I had called because she hadn't responded to my WhatsApp messages. And normally she would respond in the middle of the night because she was a night owl. I text and sent Facebook messages, and finally she called and said, is the girl from Miss Bed? She was supposed to, I was supposed to call you. No worries, God sister. Just keep sending the prayers. She caught me up on all the things that was going on with her, and it was like time had never passed. She was joking about being able to hear and how she remembers what we, how we used to blow in seashells and put them to our ears. We love you, Mary. You will not be forgotten. Tell our mother and sister hi, and they will take care of you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. When I was approximately 23 years, that's about 33 years ago, I got a letter from New York saying that I have a sister. And in that letter was a picture of a lady in a red pants, a white blouse, and a little girl sitting on her lap. I went, I asked my mom, do I have a sister? My mom said, your father never mentioned one, but she looks like your father, but that might be true. A few years after that, there was a number and the address in the letter. 3 years after that, I came to New York, and I decided to go look for my sister. I called the number, and being upon, she would have made a mistake with the number. So a Spanish woman kept answering the phone. I decided I can't go back home until I see my sister. So I took the train again, not knowing much about New York. Look at the address, a Saturday afternoon, just like this, approximately the same time. And I said, I'm going to look for my sister. I got off the train. I went, I saw the address. I got in. I rang the doorbell. A girl looked outside, opened the door, and jumped up on me with a crazy self. After that, she said to me, come inside, come inside. And she sat down and she said, you know, with her thing. And then she took me to see my father, which is a different story. From that day onwards, my sister and I became, it was like if we raised up together. When I'm in New York, I stop saying my brother because I have to say my sister. As the gentleman just mentioned, there was always somebody by my sister. Somebody from Munster, somebody that's different. But I'm welcome there, and she made sure that I'm always comfortable. My sister, I couldn't sleep. I'm lying down on the bed, and she's right there, and she trapped me right through the night. Sis, I have to go to sleep. We have to make up for the time that we have lost. Sis, we cannot give it one time. We have to start someplace. And that was my sister. Every year, when I reach New York, the first thing, you have to come by me. So I end up fighting with time between my brother and my sister, who spent more time. My sister was special. Special in such a way that it's not funny. One time I remember my sister said she was coming to Antigua to pick up at the airport. And I went with a friend. And in those days, you can see the persons coming off the plane. And you know, everybody coming up. And the lady kept saying, "You sure your sister coming on this bed?" I said, "Yes." Then I said, "James, my sister." She said, "How you know?" She said, "Look at the lady." I said, "Look at that lady with the funny thing on her head." She said, "How you know it's her sister?" I said, "Nobody else will come out the play with something on her head like that." What happened was that my sister was bringing a lamp for my mom. And she decided to put the lampshade on her head like a hat. And that was my sister. My sister made sure we practically did everything that we didn't do as a kid because we never saw each other. I would go home, looking all over for the place for Mary. Next thing she coming out of the closet. She was playing hide and seek. My sister and I had such a great relationship. My kids and Michelle, Sandy, they became like, although they didn't go up together, it was like, hey, those are my favorite cousins and that's my favorite aunt. My sister was such a special person. She loved family, she loved friends. She made sure everybody was happy. You would never know whether or not she has money or not, because she's going to give you the last, which was sometimes a problem for me, because I'm wondering if what I'm getting is the last or she thinks it's okay with her. Because if I want this, she's going to get it from me. When I got the news about my sister's death, it was to my son and I was at school. I immediately checked my phone and I saw a message from Sandra and a message from Clay. I called Clay to confirm and Clay said to me, yes, it is. I said to him, I can't post it. He said, no, it's not a subject and I'll deal with it. I told my second in command, Miss Francis, I just got a message that my sister died. I'm going home. No. Make sure everything okay for me. I left it, went home. Lie down on the bed for about an hour. And I said to myself, you know something? If you take it this way, you're ungrateful to the Lord. And I got up and I said to myself, you know something? I'm going right back to school. And I reached out to teach that out. It's a fun. I thought this is it. I said, look, you know something, from now onwards, all I'm going to do is look at the positives that my sister has brought in my life. The positives that she created. My sister was finished dialysis in the afternoons, and I think a Friday. And the next thing she would do is go to give the homeless something to eat. She's tired. Her body's worn. But the most important thing to her is to help the needy. My sister, sometimes when she has dialysis, she's tired. So I'm not getting that day. But the next day when she's good, she's gonna call me someplace to do something. It doesn't matter what it is, it's just 2 minutes. If it's 5 minutes, she's gonna find something for us to do. So I stand here today and I'm gonna say, let's just look at sis at the corner in the positive and remember the positive that she sends out. The way she lives her life. For family, friends, you don't even have to be a friend. You come from Montchat, you call Mary, I need a place to stay. It's okay. Because half of the time, she don't like you, she know the person that are actually there. But her place is always open for anybody that wants a place to stay. My sister made sure that my brother, whom I've never met, because my father had 3 kids, he never talked about any of us to the other. So Mary didn't know she had a brother. I didn't know Mary and Glassford grew up in Montserrat, and none of them knew they had a brother or sister in Montserrat. And Mary made sure that I got in contact with Glassford. I've never seen him in person, but he has spoken on the phone, right? And the thing about it is that blood is blood. Because when myself and Mary met, it's like if we have been together forever. When I called my brother on the phone the first time, notice what I said, the first time, we spent over 2 hours talking on the phone. And when I came off, I said to my wife, you know, I just spoke with my brother, I spoke for over 2 hours. She said, I can't chat. Which is really true, right? But as I said, let's think about the positive. And sis, I love you. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here. And remember the positives.
I'm going to read it for some people who I know are not going to be here. This one says, Dear Florence Richards and family, I was very sad to hear about your loss. It is hard to find the right words in times like this. I pray that the God of all comfort hide you under his wings and grant you peace, comfort, and courage. Though it may seem that you're all alone right now, know that you are not. God has promised that he will never leave you nor forsake you. He has given us hope of a new life in a land that he's preparing for us. Remember to keep this hope of a reunion burning in your heart. Also, please remember that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I pray that the anticipation of this joy burns in your heart because God keeps his promises. Know that you and your family are in my prayers. Please accept the sincerest condolences from my family and I. Yours in his service, Marlene Alvarez, Associate Director of Education, Atlantic Union Conference. My sister Maureen in England, Mary's cousin. I was saddened to hear that my cousin Mary, aka Lady M, passed away. I would like to send my condolences to Clayton and the whole family and say Mary was cherished by my mother Mary and our family. She will be greatly missed by us. May you take comfort in the loving memories and the friends and family that surrounds you. I can imagine the pain you feel now, but hopefully it is nothing compared to joy found within the memories of Mary's life. I am sending healing prayers and comforting hugs to you all. I love you, Mary, from Maureen. Go. This one is from Alfred Molyneux, the president of the Montserrat Society, Montserrat Progressive Society of Boston. Tribute to an extraordinary woman, the late Mary Blake. To everything there is a season, a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, and a time to keep and a time to cast away. Today, we are gathered here to memorialize and to celebrate the life and homegoing of the late Mary Blake, so that together we may acknowledge and share both our joy in the gift that her life was to us and the pain that her passing brings. In sharing the joy and the pain together, it may lessen the pain and remember more clearly the joy. She endured serious health issues with dignity and grace. Her ultimate faith in Jesus Christ was not theoretical or detached. It was a living faith in a living God that sustained her through the years. While we know that she is at rest and that her struggles are at an end, she has left a legacy of love, compassion, and perseverance. The way she touched the lives of others will always remain. And I ask you to keep these memories alive by sharing them with each other. Mary was one of my many adopted daughters, and all her relationships were transformed by one single ingredient: love. The most essential of our time here on earth. The best remedy for a difficult event that turns our lives upside down is to give and show love freely and to receive the love that comes to us in return. The song has ended, but the melody lingers on. To her entire family and friends, I extend my deepest condolences, and as we remember and mourn her passing, may her soul rest in eternal peace and rise in glory. I give somebody else a chance, and then I can need some more. Somebody can help.
Good evening, everyone. I know we all have sad hearts here today, especially myself, because my sister Mary was very dear to me. It's a sister that I loved a lot from since she was a kid, because of the vibrantness she has in her as a sister. We haven't spoken like in face to face in a long time, but we speak on the phone from time to time, so I haven't seen her in a very long time. But the memory that I have of her in my heart still remains. That's why I'm here today, to be with the family and go through the grief that we're going through until our minds get settled to a place where we could accept what happened. I can't begin to tell you how much I miss this sister. I'm not a very good crier, but in my heart, cries a lot. I don't do it physically a lot. Sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't, but in my heart, weeps for this girl. She's my sister and I love her very much, and I wish her all the best to all eternity. I'm sure there's a lot of people here who feel the same like I do. I just got off the plane, but I'm clear-minded. I love her, and God bless her and guide her path to eternity. Thank you guys very much.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Dave. Just gonna read something. I want to say I love you. I miss you. M is for motivational. You have been motivating me since I was 5 years old. I remember our first debate. He was teaching me how to tie my shoes. I was so frustrated. I wanted her to tie them for me so bad, but she said, no, Dave, you're gonna tie them. She said, don't give up. I was angry, I cried, and then I started and I finished the task. I appreciate your words of encouragement. Mary has touched many, many lives beyond measure. I know because she threw parties for Christmas and invited all the members of the dialysis facility. She just loved placing and seeing joy in people. Mary gave me confidence and gave people confidence as well to live beyond their illness. She taught me how to skate. She taught me how to bowl. I remember going to a house at, on Saturday afternoon, and we used to play board games. And she was just resilient. She never wanted to lose. She was so competitive. I remember that. She convinced my mom. I remember she convinced my mom to give me a key. She just always wanted us to be responsible. She pushed us to a higher level. And I always remember for that. A is for abundance. Mary had abundance of jokes. She was very funny. She was really, really funny. Gut bursting at times. She had abundance of love for not only for her kids, but foster children, fresh air fun kids, and other relatives as well. She was everybody's mama. She was always helping in abundance. She always saw greatness in others. Her smile, her tight outfits, shaking up the room every time she just walked in abundance. That was her. R is for royal. She was radiant and ravishing, and she demanded respect. Every time she walked in the room, she networked with people, listening, relating, and showing empathy. She was a fighter. That's a fact. That's a fact. She was a fighter. She taught me how to be strong. All of the medical issues that she had, she was never bitter. She's never bitter, never angry, never spiteful. She was willing to help. That's one thing I'm telling you. She was willing to help. Doesn't matter who it was, she was gonna help you. And the last one is Y, which is Y is for youthful. You always look young all the time. Years we had together, loving, laughing, cookouts, parties, graduations, society functions. I appreciate you for inviting me and being part of me. You are a part of me. God bless you all, Mary. God bless everyone that's here today. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Another tribute from one of her children that she fostered. One of many. Mommy, you kept me when everyone was against me. You loved me when no one else did. You raised me like I was your biological daughter and never let anything happen to me or my children, your grandchildren. I am so sorry I did not make more time for you, and now it's too late. But I have made a promise to you that I will always be the type of mother to my children as you were to me, and I have kept that promise. I will be forever grateful for you and the way you love me like your own family, and comfort me when I was in those dark days. You will forever be my mom and the only grandmother my children had. Thank you so much for loving us. May your soul continue to rest in peace. It's from Coco.
Adults are having problems reading, so Mary's little granddaughter wrote this. Dear Grandma, I love you. I have been good in school. I have a best friend. Her name is Mia. Mia gave me an orange flower to give to you. I have two best teachers. Their names are Miss Rutherford and Miss Ross. I hope you have fun in heaven. I am going to miss you a lot. I am going to send you a balloon. I remember the time when you, me, Mommy, Bella, Brandon, Jay, Brianna, Auntie, and Uncle went to Chuck E. Cheese. We had so much fun. Love, your granddaughter, Jocelyn, Aliana Bailey. Here's Jocelyn. Tribute to Mary Blake. We all have been personally touched in so many ways by the life of Mary Blake. She was a courageous and phenomenal woman. Mary was the rock of her family, the gentle touch to her children, the joy to her soulmate, and an inspiration to her friends and the people around her. Throughout her life, she suffered tremendous life-threatening illnesses, but never made these experiences control the way she lived. She did not sit around and cry to gain the sympathy of others, but liberated herself by constantly fighting to survive and living a normal life. We witness the beauty of Mary shining through her pain, her faith in God as she embraced her struggles, and as a survivor as she triumphs through many of her trials. Thinking of Mary also brings a smile to the lips of everyone who knew her. We can recall being around her at a birthday celebration at Eastwood Manor. And Mary was sampling and eating everything being offered at the party. You know, most people would have suffered through life-threatening illnesses, are very picky with what they eat, but not Mary. When asked, she said, and I quote, "I eat everything and I don't worry about any allergic reactions because I just pop a Benadryl right after eating." We were in awe and just busted out laughing. That was the carefree spirit of Mary on full display. Mary reminded us of how precious life is and how much we need to savor every moment with love and empathy for others. We also want to express our gratitude to Mary for being an awesome sport and host for our annual Labor Day party, which was held on the grounds of her home. She always went out of her way to make everyone feel right at home as the party went into the wee hours of the morning. We are so appreciative of everything Mary did to make our fundraising event such a success. Mary, you have earned and will always have a special place in our hearts. Please spread your wings and fly proudly as you say goodbye to this earthly life and embrace the Spirit of the Lord. Members of the Emerald Isle Creative Vibes. Is there anyone else who wants to say something?
Hello, everybody. Okay. Auntie Mary, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they get old, they will not depart. She did just that. Auntie Mary laid my foundation. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. That's when you walk into any room, or you turn around and do it again. When adults are speaking, you say, "Excuse me," and you wait, or you wait longer. Please, thank you, no thank you. We didn't really do the ma'am thing because you address people by their name. Sit up straight, it will cause your back to hunch. When writing, make sure all your letters are the same size. Practice it, right? Auntie Mary was and still is a woman of excellence and of practice. If you didn't have it, you will learn and you will get it. I remember at like 5, I had some shorts that broke. She told me, go find your needle and thread. She told me to go find a needle and thread and to sew it up because it's gonna happen again and you need to learn from young. She was a woman of confidence. Hold your head up. Speak up when you're speaking. Make sure you pronounce all of your words clearly. Auntie Mary raised me. She set me ahead of my class and ahead of my time. She instilled morals, character, class, grace, patience, and compassion into me. To this day, she still gets compliments. I'm 30 now. People still compliment how she raised me. She had her own ministry. I remember she had a closet on the first floor. She had a closet where she would put gifts all through the years, for a Christmas party at the end of the year. It was her ministry. Her home was always open. She raised me along with many others. I will never forget the games, the books, the activities, the times, the loves and the hugs, the lessons. I'll never forget it. When I tell you, she would challenge you to be your highest self. Even at her funeral, somehow, somewhere, she's still challenging me. I don't speak in front of people, you know? So I was able to tell her thank you, but I wasn't able to give back to her. And foolish of me, I thought that I had time. I thought that I'd always be able to reach back and, eventually give back to her, but time wasn't on my favor. But me and Kiran had a picture when we were younger. And remember the picture?
Yes.
We had a picture together when we were younger. And when me and Kiran found each other on Facebook, we posted the picture. And Auntie Mary commented and she said, "Oh, my two babies." And she said, so of course we're saying, "Oh, I love you. I love you." And she goes, the best thing for me, it would be if you guys just were the best of your highest self. Just as long as you be who you are, I'm happy with that. And because at the moment when I found that she died, I began to beat up on myself. You didn't spend any time with her. I moved, I even came back. I didn't, I didn't. So I really did think I always had time. But immediately as I began to really beat down on myself, that post came up as a memory. I looked at it today to see what date it was, to see if it matched the dates. It didn't. That post was in October, but it showed up when I was being down on myself. She has so much grace. Even at that moment, she knew how to calm me down. Even at that moment, she knew how to say, "JJ, it's gonna be okay." I just thought I always had time, but I couldn't. I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful to Auntie Mary. I'm grateful to Auntie Michelle, Auntie Sandy. I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful. I am sorry that I didn't spend my time wisely, but I'm grateful.
You okay? It's okay.
I'm grateful. So
I have to say.
yes.
Good evening. I'm asked to read a tribute on behalf of Michelle, Sharon's sister. Yesterday, Mother's Day, I lost one of my closest friends. Today, with so many thoughts swirling through my head, I can only think, if I didn't know her, you wouldn't believe that such a person existed. She was fearless, unafraid to take on challenges that life brought, seemingly indefatigable. As she fought the conditions that complicated her life, defiantly unbroken by the trials that constantly came along, incessantly optimistic, living life with zeal that was inexplicable given her concerns, just joyful, never taking anything for granted, really living life marching to the beat of her own drum. Nothing seemed capable of taking her down, but then this time. It still seemed as if you would deliver your usual knockout punch, right up until the last moment. I remain optimistic, though cautiously so. These past few weeks have been torture. I know more so for you, your daughters, my little sisters, your significant other, your siblings, my twin sister, your forever present friend, and all of those most near and dear to you. I prayed without ceasing. You occupied my mind most every minute. My first thought on awakening and my last thought as I dozed each night. But it was still not enough. I shall miss you. Your constant support, your never-ending encouragement, your lack of judgment, your enthusiasm, your irreverent humor, those Halloween's costumes, smile, your texts, calls, sometimes random, in reminder of recognition of special deeds, events, milestones, or accomplishments, or even just to keep me company during difficult or tedious times and activities. Your physical voice may be no more, but your spirit will forever live on. In your furry, feline, and avian babies, your creative house projects, your garden, in so many ways. Phenomenal was a word created just to describe you. Those words knew your heart, knew all of your qualities stated above. You will continue to be an inspiration through the way you lived and the way you transitioned. You definitely earned your angel wings, your crown, your rest. Sleep well, my dear Lady M. Until we meet again, my friend, rest in eternal power and peace.
Didn't want to speak at all, but I know that she would be so mad at me if I did. My grandma was one of the best women to walk on this earth. She was my best friend. She was going through so much every day. No one would know it just because she had a smile on her face every single time we saw her. She was there for us at every track meet I had, every birthday, every Christmas, every Easter, every New Year's, every Halloween. I was so sad when she passed, and I figured out that because I always thought, yeah, she's gonna be fine. She always makes it. She's gonna be fine. When she passed, you know, when people have regrets and say, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I didn't have none of that. I had no regrets when it came to my grandma. When she called, I was there. She needed help, I was there. When we was older, she always looked out for everybody. On Mother's Day, when nobody in her dialysis unit, when people that just have family, don't have nobody, she would go, she would give out candy. She gave everybody her last season when she was at her worst. I wish I know everybody saw that. Such an amazing person. And I'm not angry because I don't want to be angry. I'm not angry that she's gone because I'm happy that she's okay now. She's not really gone, she's here. She was like my best friend. She was my best friend. She still is my best friend. I just want her to tell, I just want to say I thank her for being in my life. I thank her for being my grandmother. I thank her for being my friend. I thank her for being the best role model that she ever was. I'm going to be sad. I know everybody's going to be sad, but I just want everybody to know that it's going to be okay. I love her so much, and I hope you guys love her as much as I do. Good evening, everybody. My name is Felicia. I went to school with Sandy. We've been best friends since junior high school. This is one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life, because when she hurt, I hurt. She was there for my family. She was there for my wedding. She was there when my kids were born. Good times, bad times. Mother's Day, I went to work. I work at the hospital, and I was so sad the whole entire day. I didn't know why. My spirit wasn't the same. I came home from work, and I remember I was home eating dinner by myself, and I just started to cry. I didn't know why. Everybody was texting me Happy Mother's Day, and I was sending out texts and calling everybody. I got to call my Sandy, tell her Happy Mother's Day. We don't talk often, but we have that relationship where it didn't matter what time we spoke to each other, day, night, months, weeks, years. She watched my kids grow. I watched her kids grow. My godson, Jay. And I called her. I was in my bed in my pajamas, and she gave me the news. I got dressed. I came over to her house. We talked, we cried. I just want to say thank you, God, for putting her in my life when you did. I feel like everybody has their tribe and people that come in your life to teach you lessons and to wake you up and to teach you about yourself and your health, because she was very health conscious. Oh, you're getting too fat. You need to lose weight. I would tell her, come to the house. And she was that type. Every time she came to my house, she would take her shoes off, put it by the door. I never saw her sit on the couch. She'd go straight to the bed. Sally, I know you cook. I don't eat that kind of fish, but because you cook it, I'm gonna eat it. I said, okay, no problem. You know I'm coming up, you better have food ready. Yes, mommy, no problem. My family, Tyson, my sister's family, Lindquist, they send their sincerest condolences to her family, Sandy and Michelle, their grandkids, friends, loved ones. I pray that she's at peace. And I just thank God that I met her when I did in junior high school, and that we made her proud, growing from little girls to grown women, you know, finding our way in life. You really have to live life for you. Love who you love, be happy, be kind to one another. Call your friends, your siblings, your loved ones, tell them that you love them. You get one life. And when it's time for God to take them home, we might not be ready, but He knows when. We are not to question God. So I thank you, God, for putting Mary, my life, my family, and once again, sincere condolences. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to cheer up everybody. I can remember in 2019, we were at Trucks and at Colgate. And I remember my granddaughter saying something about a number. And she said, I know that number is gonna play. She said, I know that number is gonna play. And she said, I know my granddaughter is gonna win that race. And the number did play. And she was so worried because she couldn't get to leave to go by the number. And I just want to say to the bereaved family and my granddaughter, Coach Barrington and Coach Sandra, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And I can feel the pain because Brianna, my grandma, passed away. And there is nothing in this world could never give me that joy back like my grandma. And I just want to sing this song. I remember Mama and the love that she gave. Kneeling by my bedside, I can hear my mama say, the people are depending on you, so don't you let them down. I remember Mama in a happy way. We went to school with holes in our shoes. We didn't have much, but with the Lord saw us through. Mama keep the family together. Oh, I remember Mama in a happy way. I remember Mama in a happy way. So Mama is sleeping in the bosom of Jesus Christ. Although my mama is gone, she's right here with us now. Oh, one day I should see her. Oh, happy I will be. I remember Mama in a happy way. I remember Mama in a happy way. I remember Mama in a happy way. I remember Mama when I'm eating in a happy way. When I'm sleeping, I remember Mama in a happy way. I remember Mama in a happy way. You know, sometimes we as kids, sometimes we have a little stubborn sometimes, but sometimes when we remember Mama and all the pain and agony and whatever we do, but there is always be a time when we turn back to Mama and said, Mama, you know, anything you say to us, it was right. But as kids, we never know until we pass that time. Then everything just sum up to us as adults now. And we would think Mama was like miserable, like my grandchildren them say about me, or sometimes you will think, oh, Mama, to see everything or whatever. But we don't see that time when we as a child. But now when we grow up, you know, that's the time everything just stand up in front of us, you know. And then when we passed away, then everything just sum up when we can, you know, bring it back. But I just want to encourage the bereaved family to let them know that you will always remember Mama. Mama never stayed in our life. My grandma died about 14 years now, and I never forget her. You can't forget her. You will never, never, never forget her. No matter what, you will never forget her. So just cheer up. Cheer up. Mama names never stop calling. So just cheer up and just have a blessed evening. God bless you, and He will keep you and guide you. Thank you.
Okay. Who was my Aunt Mary? Matriarch, mother is the M in Mary. She was the matriarch of the family. She was the one that everybody loved. She was the one that held us together, whether text, phone, or even the regular family gatherings. One thing I know, she loved her family. She knew how to love all of us differently. She was a mother to two beautiful girls, and to the many other girls she adopted along the way. She didn't even have any sons, but she gained them as well. Amazing and affectionate as the A in Mary, she knew how to leave a lasting impression on anyone that she met. She was kind and always willing to lend a hand to whoever needed it. Don't get it twisted though. She was stern when she knew we needed her to be. She loved all of us and wouldn't hurt a fly, as she had a fond love for animals and nurturing to her garden. She was the R and respected and radiant. Anyone who was ever graced by her presence came across her infectious smile, always smiling. She was respected by many, her dialysis family, her hospital family, and most of all, her family, especially the younger generation. She was a ride or die person, always felt she had to protect us. Youthful as the Y in Mary, she was very competitive. She was very competitive, especially when we went bowling and even fishing. She loved to challenge us. Boy, she always thought we were jealous of her fat face, as she described it, and the runaway that she modeled whenever she got dressed to go out. She loved when we succeeded in life, always told us to put our best foot forward because we are smart and we don't have any stupid people in the Blake family. I enjoy her funny stories, especially the one from school days when she talked about how bad she thought she was and her famous line that you couldn't.
That you couldn't cross?
Yeah, that one. That was my Aunt Mary. I will never. I can't. I will forever be grateful for everything you had done for me, especially for loving me as your own. I am married. I can't see. I admired how you were fearless and always ready to take a challenge. You faced your own personal challenges and you did it well. You fought from the beginning to the very end, even when the odds were against you. One thing I know, you lived your life to the fullest. You had fun with it and didn't let anything bother you. In your last days, I spoke to you. You told me everything that was going on, and I reassured you that everything was going to be all right. I thought about you morning, noon, and night, anxious to hear you're doing better, but nothing could prepare me for what was about to come. Promised you that I would come see you in the hospital and at home, but that never happened because God had a better plan for you. In our alone time, I wanted you to know that I finished school and now I'm a registered nurse. You'll always remain my You'll always remain my favorite auntie. I love you, auntie. Then, now, and always will. Fly away and be free. Be free from all the pain and suffering. I know you're watching over us and also saying that we are jealous of you because you made it there first. So sleep in eternal peace. I love you, I love you, I love you. And you're definitely going to be missed.
Do we have a minister in the house or somebody who could say a few words?
Good evening. Sometimes there are things that happen in life. And hearing that Mary passed was a little bit easier for me because I figured I didn't have to see her. So I had no plans of coming here today because I prefer to live in
deny. But I'm here today and it's difficult. So Mary and we have a very long history. Back in 1985, when I had no place to go, I called her. And I'm not going to tell you my age, of course. And she said, Sharon, I have 2 kids. I'm unemployed. But if you come here, you'll be happy. I'll take care of you. And that's something she's done all these years. But it wasn't just taking care of me. It was teaching me about life, about love. You see, she was a person that loved unconditionally. She didn't just love her biological children. She just didn't love her family. She had that love for those persons who had that need and for those animals that were suffering. So at any given time, and it could be in the middle of winter, and she'd be outside and there's a kitten that's lost. You had to go out with her, and if it meant you had to go into the trenches, you'll do whatever you had to do to get that kitten, and that kitten became a part of the home. For children who were outside, and maybe they were being mistreated, maybe they were hungry, you would see her going to the food pantry. And on a Thursday, she would call you up, get your car, we have food to deliver. This was a person who was on dialysis, but you would never have known. This was a person who was doing both dialysis and chemotherapy, but she would still get up and she would keep going. She had many, many scars that she kept well hidden. But with all of those scars, she never once considered herself to be someone that suffered. She felt that she was here and she was here for a purpose, that God had her. And because the God's Spirit lived in her, she would continue to live. She wanted every person around to understand that with each passing day, we are to get up and we are to be thankful. We are to love those around us with no shame. But first and foremost, we must always remember who we are and whose we are. It's really, really difficult standing here. And I do know that she wouldn't have considered what she was going through as suffering. But I know for us who had to look at her, for those of us who had to sit with her and see when part of her heart stopped working, but she kept going, to sit with her when her hearing failed, but it returned, to sit with her when she was going blind, and for her to become dependent on others. That took a lot out of her, but at every dying moment, she just kept going. And she had no plans of dying. That wasn't in her vocabulary whatsoever. So even in the hospital, she would talk about my projects. I have the projects for the garden. I have the projects for my bedroom. I have the projects for the garage. So, and we also, for those of us who've been around her all these years, we know that when most persons would have given up on her, that somehow she kept coming back. So this time we just knew that she was going to fight everything that was happening. And she just wasn't able to. She just wasn't able to. But we have her memories. And we have the love that she left us with. And her legacy that we need to keep fighting. Fighting to be God's children. Fighting to love. Fighting to forgive. Remembering that our time on this earth is not guaranteed. Amen. To the family, I'm part of the family. To the extended family, I want to thank you all just for being here, for showing your love, even in this rain. But you know, that's just like Mary. She had to pass on Mother's Day, and it has to rain a whole lot. But that's just blessings that we've all had. Thank you for listening.
Dear Grandma, I never really thought about what it would be like when you're no longer here. Now here I am being forced to think about it because that's what it has come to. There's so many things I wish I could tell you, so many things I wish we could laugh about together. You were my favorite person to laugh with because you were always the cause of it. Even if it wasn't your initial intention, the things you said were some of the funniest, most truthful things I've heard in my life. With you, there was no filter. What you thought and felt was heard, and you didn't seem to care if anyone was offended. That was one of my favorite things about you, and also one of the things that I do carry. You was one of those people who other people loved being around. Your lively attitude was contagious, and so many people admired you because of it. It's safe to say that I miss you. My siblings miss you. My cousins miss you because you were our grandmother. That figure in our life we always look forward to seeing. When we knew we were going to see you, we couldn't wait for your hugs and kisses. You always looked at us as if we were the most of the beautiful of God's children. You always made us feel so special. We always knew that if we had a problem, we could come to you and you would give us the best advice. And without a doubt, you would have something hilarious to say to cheer us up. If I could have one more conversation with you, I would be sure to thank you. I would thank you for teaching me how to love life through your example. I would thank you for showing me the importance of family and how great it feels to be surrounded by the people you love. I would thank you for raising my mom to love me as much as you loved her. And lastly, I would thank you for being my grandma because I couldn't have asked for a better one. I miss you so much more, and every single day I think about you. I love you so much, Grandma. This one is from my son. I don't think he can come up here. He says, Auntie Mary, you are a person with a warm and kind heart that cannot be forgotten. I would never, ever forget our wonderful catch-up chit-chats, especially when I pop in while visiting in the Bronx from Boston. You never fail to make me laugh. The way you express yourself always made me shake my head and have a hearty laugh. Most memorable is the affectionate way you call me, as only you can. And I can just hear you saying Key or Kiki. I love you, Auntie. So, Auntie, so, Kieran Blake. My other sister in England says, my dearest cousin, Lady M, your grace and smile, big as the morning star. Your kindness and love you have shown unto others despite everything you were going through with your help. God said it is time for my child to come home. The bright colors you have worn showed exactly who you are, full of joy and life and the biggest smile, brighter than the morning star. A smile I would never forget.
My cousin, you may be gone, but would not be forgotten. Rest well and in peace. Cynthia Ferrier. My mother, from my mom, a while ago, I had a niece filled with grace and beauty too. We used to talk at 1 a.m. in the morning. That's because Mary's a night owl. We chat and we would laugh. Oh, how I'm going to miss those calls. A soul whose gentle smile warmed the hearts and homes of others. Now I say goodbye to my darling niece Mary. Love you always, your namesake aunt, Mary May Blake Ferrier. June don't think he can come back up here, so I'll read for him. My little sister, in size only, of course. We all know that life is not fair, but through your struggles and trials, you show that one can still live a full and long life. We will miss your insightful and sometimes unwanted opinions. But at the end of the day, we were family. We lived and loved for each other. We are all blessed to have known you. Sleep in peace, my dear. Know that your spirit and memories would always be with us. Love you. Theodore Jr. Richards, his baby brother. From our grand aunt in Boston, sending heartfelt sympathy to Mary's daughters and family. We would like to express our sincere condolences. Our thoughts and prayers are with you during the difficult time. May you find peace and comfort in all the love and memories that surround you, and that she rest in heavenly peace. Aunt Madge and family, the late Abraham Hammy Blake, that's our grandfather, sister. As Susan C. said, you were God-sent special angel waiting to go home. Your task was finished here, and Earth God called his angel home. Rest in peace, sis. Is there Tanya here? Yeah.
All right, so Tanya is my best friend. Death is a graduation. When we're taught all the things we came to teach, learned all the things we came to learn, then we're allowed to graduate. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. I started off with this quote to commemorate the life of Auntie Mary. No one likes the word death. It usually brings sad emotions and a really bad feeling. It is never easy to say goodbye to anyone. The cliche quote, life is so short, comes into motion and we feel as if our world is crashing down. Undoubtedly, it is a difficult time for most, if not all, grieving loved ones. My tribute today explains why I believe Auntie Mary's life is to be celebrated in this exact moment. In 2015, my then 4-year-old daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. The words till this day have not been created for the way I felt. God is such a mysterious God to send Auntie Mary into my life in that specific time, at that specific moment, to give me the best advice that anyone has probably ever given me. We were connected by such a terrible disease, but she gave me hope for the future. My deepest condolences go out to this family, and I pray God heals you where you hurt the most. Auntie Mary, you have left a lasting impact on my family's life, and your words contributed to me having healthy cancer-free 10-year-old daughter today. I thank God for the introduction made by Kendria. Because of this, I can stand here today and say that my daughter has healed by God's grace. God bless you.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, family, friends, loved ones. This is kind of weird because like grandma, she doesn't like, I would never, she's the type of person that you would think that would live like ever, forever. I wouldn't picture her. She went through too much. And it's like, I don't know, cancer, fought that off. She's been doing dialysis forever. COVID, she beat it, fought it. I don't know, it's just, she wouldn't want us to be sitting here just so sad. She would want to hear some music. Ain't no music playing. We need some music. It's so dull and just sad. Want to see that nice red dress she got on? She got glasses. Oh no, I just can't. It just don't feel right. It just don't feel right. The energy is not. It's not right here. We gotta be happy. She don't want to see us this so sad. I just want to say I love my grandmother. She knows that I love her. She loves everybody here. Everybody who's not here couldn't make it. I don't know, I just want to say, don't waste time. I could see like, she teaches, she has like a lot, she's like a teacher, and like, some things you just don't see or realize until it's late. So I feel like if anybody has ever told you anything and it really benefited you, or that you feel like you love somebody, don't take advantage of their love. You gotta love the ones that's here now before they're not. Thank you, guys.
We want to thank everyone for coming. In the constraint of time, we have 5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. That's it. 8 o'clock. And from 5 to 8. We thank you for coming. I can tell you something. Okay, thank you. Let us just say the Lord's Prayer. Please stand. Our Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you for coming.
I just want to thank everyone on behalf of the family for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today. Family, on behalf of myself and Mrs. Karrie to the entire Eternity Funeral Services, our deepest condolences to you. As a reminder, the services will be at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning at the Bronx Seventh-day Adventist Church. Again, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning at the Bronx Seventh-day Adventist Church. As you make your final viewing, we ask that you please do not congregate. Once you have viewed, please exit the building. Please do not congregate. Once you have viewed, please exit the building. She is a wonderful, wonderful woman.
brought so much light to it. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. She made us strong. I am strong. I am here today because she gave me the strength. I was down and out and everything about my kidney disease. And your grandmother gave me my fight back. So please know that she touched so many people.
Please do not congregate. If you come in the view, please come here. And then please exit the building. Please do not congregate in the hallways.
She made us go through the- She is just so wonderful. I just wanted you to know. She's just, y'all grandmother is just so young. She said, I know how you doing. I just want y'all to know how wonderful she is.